How's it going, everyone? I'm doing pretty well today, and I'm gonna be reviewing my friend's BMW M3 Competition. God damn it. So this is Doran. He's my good friend.
Come on, guys.
He's the man, and he is the owner of this M3 Competition pack. So he's letting me take it out for a spin. It's a very beautiful spec, if I do say so myself. And let's go have some fun. Woohoo! Here we go. So I do have a history driving these F80 M3 and M4s. I've driven my good friend Gordon F-Spots M4 a lot. He has around like 45,000 miles, which is a ton for that car. It's been really reliable so far, but he doesn't have the competition. He has the standard M4, whereas this one is the competition. The standard BMW M3 is around 425 horsepower. Ooh, Audi R8 V10, that's very nice. The standard BMW M3 has around 420 to 430 horsepower, which is a good amount, but the competition pack actually has around 20 or 30 more horsepower on top of that. But what's really interesting is that they don't really increase the torque too much. You'd think, being the competition pack, they do horsepower and torque as well as various other things. But in this competition pack, with what BMW's decided to do is keep the torque the same rather, and then up the power and then up different various components. I'm driving it now in sport mode right now. I've been in Sport Plus. It's a little bit too rough, I'd say. I think sport is the perfect mix. What's really interesting about this car is that everything is electric. So the steering, it has a dual clutch. Everything is very like 21st generation and not really as connected, which is something that the M cars have always been a staple for, you know, being the most connected and purest driving car. Although it is basically double the price of the last gen M3, it really does make a big difference, especially on the road. I think the last gen M3, the E92, is a very good linear V8. It doesn't have turbos, whereas this car has an inline 6-cylinder twin turbo. So it's definitely a totally different driving experience. You get the turbo kick where it's just... Oh, the spool, there it is. So the E92, I think it's really good as a track car because it's such a linear power curve. The way the V8 revs, it's very stable the whole time, but it's not as exciting on the road. That's really what it comes down to for me. The F80, although it's not as predictable on the track, you do get this massive turbo whoosh that just punches you in the back. Like, yeah, you don't get that with an E92, definitely not. The competition pack M3 is quite a bit different from the standard one. It's not just a subtle power increase by around 20 or 30 horsepower, there's also new anti-roll bars, new springs, it's a lot stiffer overall, and each M mode, so it has different M modes like Efficient, Sport, and Sport Plus, those are all completely reconfigured to go with the new power. It has new exhaust as well as new wheels. So I'll go over some of the exterior features. It's a really pretty car. I love the competition pack wheels personally. Doran's M3 is painted a really interesting shade of white. It's actually BMW multiple stage pearl. So instead of just being a standard single color white, it does have a couple layers of really nice pearl effect in there. With the competition M3, you do get new springs front and rear, so it's quite a bit lower overall and stiffer, including the different adaptive modes. So beyond just being overall stiffer, it has the same adaptable 3 different suspension setting modes that the standard M3 does. One way you could tell an M3 competition pack versus a standard one is this back logo. It's done in black from factory, as well as the exhaust. The competition pack gets an entirely new exhaust system. It's pretty loud and it makes a lot more like grumbles and pops and bangs than the standard one. The biggest differences between this generation of M3, the F80, and the last generation, the E92, is definitely the engine. The new engine is a straight 6 engine, twin turbo, and it has around 450 or so horsepower with the competition pack. The last generation M3 had a beautiful high revving V8, which was very nice, but it didn't really have that much mid-range torque, which is something BMW definitely fixed with the new F80s. They're known for being super torquey, especially in the mid-range because of the twin turbo. The new engine for the F80 is a twin turbo inline 6, so it's really beautiful. It has this full carbon sway bar that comes on all the M3s. It's not just the competition pack, but it's such a great power plant. It's good for tuning, especially up to around like 600 horsepower. It really is a strong engine and you could beat the hell out of it. One of my favorite features with the Competition pack is what BMW did with the interior. It's pretty refined for being an M3. You have this nice red and black leather, as well as the contrast stitching, as well as these really cool like privacy window mirrors that normally that's not really found on an M3. The interior on Doran's car specifically is a mixture of red and black. I think it looks really good with a white exterior, contrasts very nicely. The M3 Competition also features lightweight sport seats, which inside you could see it has this totally clear through cut. And what's great when you have someone driving that you have a little crush on is you just give them a little tickle and they could totally feel it right through the seat. The M3 has always had the special quality of kind of being the everyday supercar in a sense that it can keep up, especially if you modify it even slightly, with like big cars that are double its price range. And the car really, for being under $100,000, it's kind of within the average person's dream to own, the average car guy that is. So it's a very special car. Doran has it. I'm gonna take it for a little spin right now. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, so the M3 Competition pack. I love the dashboard and everything. For one, it has all the M stitching in the steering wheel. That's one of the coolest features on all M cars, really. I'm gonna go ahead, Doran automatically custom set the M1 to be, or no, it's M2. Okay, M2 is his sportiness. So now we're in Sport, Sport, Sport Plus, and that changes things. Nice. There's nothing like the mid-range turbo kick. I tell you, I had an E92 for a little while over the summer. My dad owned one and I got to drive it quite a bit. But the F80 just kicks so much harder. It really feels like a completely new car. And I know it is. A completely new engine, transmission, everything. But it's on a power and torque level that's just unparalleled to the E92. Maybe that's why the price has dropped off so much, is because, yeah, the E92 is a great car, but the F80 is just so much more fun, I believe, daily living and being able to just experience that torque rush at any given moment. Oh, it's just addicting.